Bill Jones, and welcome to VYPE TV, a show that highlights local athletes, their schools, and their communities. On today's show, we'll talk about those Trinity Trojans and their undefeated season in District 6-5A. We'll meet the Parlin family of Plano, where a proud father gets the chance to coach his own son. Quarterbacks that can throw and run are once again being sought by colleges. We'll talk about it with our resident recruiting expert, David McNabb. And finally, a performance from the Plano East Drumline. Well, the Trinity Trojans are a perennial powerhouse in District 6-5A. They were last year's Division I Class 5A state champions, and they haven't lost a game since September 18th, 2008. This year, they have not scored less than 35 points in any game. Meanwhile, they've held their opponents to an average of 10 points per game. This week, they played their final game of the regular season against MacArthur back on Thursday night here on TXA 21. We spoke with them the day before the big game.
This senior class has been together for a really long time, and it'd be in our best interest, just to end the regular season off right, and hopefully, come off with a win. We just playing for each other, since we've been knowing each other for so long.
Since I'm a senior, it's my last time playing at Pennington, so I just gotta give it my all. I got all of the underclassmen looking up to us, and they need to help us also. It's not just us doing the job, it's all of us since we're a team. So it's my last game, so I just got to give it my all. My personal goal is just play as hard as the next person next to me. Trying to fulfill my duties as a defensive lineman and as a team player on the defensive line. Just do the best I can. All the teams that we play are good. They gave us a good look, and it feels good to be on the field. The main thing about this team is just we got to do our job. Both sides on the field, defense and offense. We practice so hard. We watch films, and just not doing our job would mess us up. So we gotta do our job and key right and just do everything right.
They treat us, they treat us like regular kids. We go to school just like everybody else goes to school. But, at the same time, they're just proud of us, and look at us as a light to this school.
Just be us, be humble. People out there say that y'all, just because y'all on the field doesn't mean nothing and all that. They can talk whatever they want, but we're a family over here. We are humble. We just go game by game and just take it one step by step.
A lot of Baylor shirts at Trinity. Euless Trinity was undefeated going into Thursday night's game against MacArthur and was already guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. MacArthur was 3-4 in District 6-5A, needed a win to earn a playoff spot. It was a David and Goliath showdown in the mid-cities at Pennington Field. Trojans took an early 7-0 lead. Game seen on TXA 21 on Thursday night. Brandon Carter took the ball to the outside here, 47 yards for the touchdown. Carter, an Oklahoma commitment. In the second quarter, MacArthur tried to close the gap, but after a Trinity touchdown made it 20-7, Trinity with the extra point attempt. And check this out, MacArthur blocks the kick, and Jalen Brown, committed to Notre Dame, returns it 90 yards, gets 2 points for the Cardinals. That made the score 20-9 Trinity at the half. In the third quarter, it was that man Brandon Carter once again for Trinity. Remember, he scored a touchdown, rushing the football in the first half. His only pass of the game at quarterback, 39-yard touchdown to Enrique Oquendo, and the Trojans were up 27-9, taking command of this game as we move to the fourth quarter, up 34-9. Tevin Williams taking the ball, scampering 27 yards to pay dirt. Williams had 132 yards on 17 carries. One of MacArthur's only bright spots came in the fourth quarter as Jason Frimpong scored on this 54-yard touchdown reception, but it wasn't enough as Trinity would add another score late in the game. Trinity rolls 48-15, a perfect regular season once again. MacArthur's playoff hopes dashed and they'll have to rebound next year. So the storybook season continues for the Trojans as they plow ahead toward a second consecutive state title. As we approach the playoffs, Trinity is looking incredibly strong once again. Take a look at their season record. You can see how they have dominated opponents this year, starting with the first game of the year against Midland Lee, which they won 35-0. Then they rolled up 80 points over an Arkansas powerhouse, Shiloh Christian, a game played at Cowboys Stadium, 50 points against Richland and Irving. And moving on to the second half of the season, Colleyville Heritage, the second place team in their district, a 42-7 win over Heritage. And then their rivals from LD Bell, followed by Haltom, Nimitz, and as you saw, Grapevine, and then the MacArthur game. They've outscored their opponents 513-93. And joining us to talk more about those Trojans, the publisher and managing partner of VYPE magazine, he's J.D. Sanders. We've been talking mostly about their offense, but let's just talk about their total dominance. Steve Lineweaver, what he's done with that program. They've won state championships basically in the odd-numbered years. 05, 07, 09 look pretty strong for 2010.
Yeah, Tim and I were talking about that this morning. We're wondering if this is the decade if they finish out by winning the championship, which I think it's what everybody expects. But be that as it may, they're in a very tough district. I think 8 of the top 10 teams are going to be in that district when we get to championship, and so we're going to see how it turns out.
Yep, that's a tough bracket that Trinity is in. They always seem to be in a tough bracket in Region 1. We do talk a lot about their offense, but they've got some defensive players, and I have a hard time pronouncing some of these names, but college recruiters don't have a problem pronouncing some of them. Jonathan Yenga is one. He's the younger brother of SMU standout Yuri Yenga, and he's being recruited heavily. But on the offensive side of the ball as well, they've got that running back tandem that seems like they've been there forever.
Well, it certainly takes them deep into every game. They've got the power with their running backs to give their passing game some surprises, and they've just been dominant all year. Like you said, you mentioned some of the scoring opportunities that they've had. I mean, over 50% of their games, they've scored 50 points or more. I think one of the margin of victories, the smallest was 23 points, and of 9 of 10 games, they've scored over 40 points. So they're certainly a dominant program.
All right, it'll be very interesting to see. Should have a pretty tough matchup in the second round of the 5A playoffs. When we return here on VYPE TV, we'll tell you which teams are already guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. And later, we'll introduce you to a father and son who get to spend time together at home and school. We'll be right back. But before we go to break, here's one of our favorite features. We call it Game Faces. We're showcasing some of the best high school sports photography in North Texas. You're watching VYPE TV, and we will return in a moment. Welcome back to VYPE TV. You know, as we approached the end of the regular season this weekend, the playoff picture was taking shape. Teams that guaranteed spots in the playoffs before last night in Class 5A, District 4 5A, Arlington Martin ruling the roost after losing its first 2 games of the season. Warriors won 8 straight, perfect in league play, district champions. 2 other teams in the district, the Bowie Volunteers and the Arlington Colts, played a great game on Thursday, won by Bowie on a last-second field goal. They're going to the playoffs. In District 5 5A, the Duncanville Panthers and Cedar Hill Longhorns, tops in the league, squaring off last night and be in this year's playoffs along with 2 other teams from that district. Trinity we've told you about, but Colleyville Heritage, pretty good team there once again, led by Coach Mike Fuller. The Panthers have had a great year, really. Their 6th consecutive winning season. Meanwhile, Hearst LD Bell has had a good year as well. They finished 3rd in the district, a remarkable turnaround from their 3-7 record from last year, a senior-dominated squad. District 7 5A, Coppell, Denton Geyer, South Lake Carroll, the cream of the crop in that district. Coppell, a perfect record in district play throughout the season, ranked in the top 10 in the state all year. They've dominated every team they played, scoring more than triple the amount of points of their opponents until they met last night. Denton Geyer and South Lake Carroll had only lost to Coppell in the district, but each of them now in the playoffs as well. Strong district there, especially at the top of the district. And finally, in District 8 5A, this may be the best district anywhere. Allen, Flower Mound, Marcus all clinched playoff berths even before this weekend. District 8 5A, plenty of quality teams, and those 3 have had great years. The Allen Eagles started the season winning 8 games in a row, trying to go deeper in the playoffs this time after losing in the second round last year to Carroll. Last year, they lost that heartbreaker to Carroll in overtime at Cowboys Stadium. Flower Mound Marcus, a second straight winning season for the Marauders. They also made it to the second round of the playoffs last year before losing to powerful Cedar Hill. An exciting time of year for high school football as we move to the postseason. Joining us again, the publisher and managing partner of VYPE magazine, J.D. Sanders. And J.D., I'd like to talk a little bit about your magazine. I mean, it's got a great look, great photography, great articles as well, but sort of the vision that VYPE has for this magazine, stressing positive aspects of high school sports.
Well, thanks, Bill. Yeah, it is a great magazine. We're very proud of it. It's kind of set on a national format, although it is hyper-local. Our mission has always been to basically promote the positive aspects of athletics and to lift these kids up. You know, certainly we're going to hear bad things in the news from time to time, but our magazine is 100% positive story content all the time, and we really have been successful in doing that.
And not only stressing the athletes, but the coaches, the bands, the cheerleaders, the drill teams, you name it, and not just football, too. This is a year-round, throughout the whole school year publication.
Well, you know, as a publisher, I get quite a few emails, and Tim does, too, as the editor of, well, you certainly cover a lot of football. Well, we are in Texas, and so football is king, but we do try to cover everything. And as you mentioned, we do cover band and cheer. A lot of band parents out there, and then that's an athletic event just as well. But we cover lacrosse, we cover golf, we cover tennis, we cover swimming. So just about everything, if it's a high school sport, we cover it.
All right, J.D. Sanders, we appreciate you joining us here on VYPE TV. And coming up next, our recruiting expert, David McNabb, talks to us about the shifting demands of colleges and what kind of players they're now looking for.